Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We have completed our syllabus overview. We have done paper 1, we have done paper 2, and today we are going to start a few very basic things. This is going to be a series of a few videos there in which I am going to discuss punctuation, spelling, and grammatical mistakes. In your writing paper, you are going, and not just writing paper, in your reading paper also, in your summary writing question, you are going to be assessed for these things. And if your writing piece, if your essay is not error free, if you make punctuation mistakes, if you make spelling mistakes, if you make grammatical mistakes, the quality of your writing, the quality of your document, the quality of your paper is definitely going to be affected. Today the topic of this video is punctuation. Now there are a few very basic rules that I am going to discuss here. These are 13 basic rules, and I must say that today's lesson is a kind of appropriate lesson for even class 5 student, because we are going to discuss such basic rules that usually students learn in their primary years. But still I have noticed, because being a teacher I have noticed this thing, that students, there are I must say that there is a large number of students who make these mistakes. And if you make these mistakes, that leaves a very bad impression when examiner is checking your paper, and you make such silly mistakes, and these are very common and basic mistakes. So that doesn't leave a very good impression about the student too. That's why today I'm going to discuss these 13 very basic and essential rules. Let's start. First of all, the first and most important rule that every student, I think you start learning these rules from class 1, I guess, class 2, or even from prep class. And this is the rule that whenever we start a sentence, every declarative sentence, whenever we complete it, we put a full stop or a period at the end. So this is this is a sentence. First thing is that we start it with a capital letter, and next thing is we end it with a full stop. That is a very basic rule that students learn at a very young and early age. So rule number 1 is that every declarative sentence, means that is a statement, that is not a question, or that is not an imperative sentence, like open the door, that is an imperative sentence. So declarative sentence basically is a statement. It can be negative, it can be positive. Whenever you write it, you start it with a capital letter and you end it with a full stop or a period. That is our rule number 1. Second rule is capitalize the first letter of a sentence. That I've already told you that whenever you write a sentence, you start that sentence with a capital letter. Like here you can see S in she, S is capital. In he, H is capital. My, M is capital. And we, W is capital. So capitalize the first letter of a sentence. First letter of each sentence. It can be a statement, it can be imperative, it can be question. Whenever you write a sentence, first letter is going to be capital, and we, after writing the first letter with a capital letter, we are going to end it with a full stop, with a question mark, or whatever that is required. Now rule number 3, capitalize proper nouns. Now what are proper nouns? Proper nouns are specific names. They are names of special people. Special means, like, if you are a boy, then that is a common name. If we call you by your own name, that is Ali, that is Umar, that is Akbar, that is Hamid, any other name. So here you can see that proper noun boy and common noun boy, and proper noun is David. Day, any day is a common noun and Friday is a proper noun. So we write Friday with a capital letter. We start it with a capital letter. Month is common noun and July is proper noun. So we start July with capital J. Country is common noun and Canada is proper noun. So we start Canada with capital C. City is common and New York is proper. So we start New York with capital N. Ocean is common and Atlantic Ocean is proper noun. So we start it with a capital letter. That is the third rule. Then do not use an apostrophe to form a plural. Now, even at this stage, I have noticed students that when they write a plural, when they form the plural, they put an apostrophe in that. Like if you say there is a word that is car and you are writing its plural, that is cars. So there are some students who are in habit of putting an apostrophe there. Even in C1 I have noticed such students, and even C3 I have seen students who make this kind of mistake. So when you are making a plural, when you are writing a plural for a few things, for each and everything, we do not add apostrophe. What is an apostrophe? Apostrophe is this punctuation mark. This is known as apostrophe. One is comma that is put here, and one is apostrophe that is put on the top. This is an apostrophe, and we do not use an apostrophe while making plurals. You can see here they have 2 cars. That is incorrect because you have used an apostrophe there. Incorrect. I love cats and dogs, because here we are writing plurals. We do not add apostrophes there. Correct is CARS without an apostrophe, DOGS without an apostrophe. So no apostrophes while making or forming plurals. Fifth rule is that apostrophes are used for contractions or to show possession. Now, when we make a contraction, simply what is a contraction? This is a contraction. Contraction means short form, spoken form of something. Like actual form is do not, and spoken form or short form is don't. So whenever we make contractions, we add apostrophe in that word. We remove this O, we bring them together, and like we do it like this, DO, and we remove this O. Instead of that we put apostrophe and write T. That is don't. That is contraction. We use apostrophes while making contractions, or we use apostrophes while showing possession. Like if I say this is Ali's notebook. So when I want to tell that who is the owner of this thing, when I want to show possession, we are going to use apostrophe S. Now I don't know, I do not know. You are funny, you are funny. He is in a bad mood. He is in a bad mood. Jack's new car is beautiful. So Jack's apostrophe S is for showing possession. That is, we want to show that whose car is that. So this is Jack's car. So we use apostrophes when we make contractions or we want to show ownership and possession. Sixth rule is that every question or interrogative sentence must end with a question mark. So that is also a very basic rule. Most of the students know. Now, do you like pizza? Question mark. Are you tired? Question mark. Should we go to the cinema tonight? Question mark. So whenever you write a question in your narrative essay, in your descriptive essay, in your summary writing, anywhere in your writings, whenever you write a question, you must add a question mark at the end of that. Next one is rule number 7. Use an exclamation mark at the end of a sentence to express excitement, strong emotion, or a sense of urgency. You look beautiful. When you write such a sentence to show your emotions, we add an exclamation mark at the end. I'm so excited. To show that this is a kind of a sentence that is showing our emotions, we put an exclamation mark after there. And whenever you do this kind of writing, especially we do this in our narrative essays, you must add a full stop, you must add an exclamation mark at the end of that kind of a sentence. That was a terrible choice. Be careful. To show that these are sentences that are expressing excitement, strong emotion or sense of urgency, we put or add an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence. Eighth one, use commas to separate items in a series of 3 or more things. Whenever you have a list of things, we add commas at the end. I bought coffee and tea. I bought coffee and tea. There are 2 things, no comma is required. I bought coffee, tea and milk. Now here you can see that we have 3 things, so that's why to just show that these things are, now if we just write coffee tea together it will become one thing, so just to separate them we put a comma, we use a comma to show that they are different things. Now here there is another thing, that I want to discuss with students. Yes, and this thing is about Oxford comma. Now when we were students we were told that we do not use a comma before and. Now here you have I bought coffee, tea and milk. Now we used to write it like this, like we have written tea and then no comma before and. But these days in today's English we can put a comma even before and. That is called Oxford comma and you can conveniently use it. There is no harm in it. So I bought coffee, tea and milk. If you want to put a comma after tea, that is before and, you can put that. Here you can see here Jake has been to India, Pakistan. Can you see the comma here? So this is called Oxford comma and that is very common these days. You can use it in your writings. Next one is number 9. Use a comma to separate independent clause, complete thought when they are joined by the following conjunctions. I will be doing one a separate video in which I'm going to discuss these clauses and phrases. So right now I'm just discussing the punctuation. After that, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to make another video in which we'll be discussing clauses, independent clauses, dependent clauses, subordinate clauses, coordination clauses. We are going to discuss that also. So use a comma. All these for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, these are conjunctions here. Whenever you put these conjunction in a sentence, I want to go out tonight but I need to study, you can, I have just discussed a comma earlier. So I want to go out tonight, comma, but I need to study. Whenever you have an independent clause, I want to go out tonight, and after that you are using but, you are coordinating, you are joining 2 sentences together. So you have but and before them you can put a comma. I'll discuss them in detail, okay, don't worry. Use a semicolon between closely related independent clauses. So semicolon is basically, this kind of sign is known as semicolon. So whenever you have this semicolon, you can use it in a sentence in which you have 2 sentences, like we have here you have 2 sentences. Instead of writing this but or and, you can put semicolon there, like I love coffee. So I can write here I love coffee but you love tea. But instead of writing that, I'm just putting a semicolon there. I'm writing I love coffee, you love tea. Karen is a teacher and Susie is a nurse. But instead of writing and, I'm putting a semicolon there. Karen is a teacher. So to avoid a conjunction with independent clauses, like these are the independent clauses we just discussed, instead of writing a conjunction, we can write a semicolon. Now Logie doesn't like seafood, semicolon, he prefers pasta. So we can use semicolon instead of conjunctions. Number 11. Use a colon to introduce a list of items. Now here in this case, what is colon? Colons are these two dots. This is called colon. They serve many types of food. Now what is that list of that food? We are going to put a colon, and then after that we are going to write the list of food. There are three things every child needs. Now what are those three things? The list of those things, we are going to put a colon after needs, and then we will write the list of those things after that. Next one is number 12. Use a hyphen to join two or more words that serve as a single adjective before a noun. So examples like, there are words who are a combination of two words. So when we join them together, we put a hyphen. What is hyphen? Hyphen is this small dash here. You can see here. Yes, this small, like that is called hyphen. So a well-known author, well-known, kind-hearted, brand new, chocolate covered. So when we want to join sentences together, we put a hyphen in between them to make them one. And last rule, use a hyphen with compound numbers. You should hyphenate compound numbers between 21 and 99, like 21, 83, 99. When we write them, we always put a hyphen between them. Hyphen is this small dash that you can see here. This is called a hyphen. This small dash, that is called a hyphen. There's another thing that we put down here, that is called underscore. So hyphen is something that is put between two words to make them one. So that's all for now. We have discussed 13 basic rules. These are, remember, these are very basic rules. Okay, so these are very basic rules. When I say these are very basic, so that means that they are the rules that students learn. These are the rules that students learn at a very young age, like in their junior school, I must say, or prep class 1, 2, 3. In these classes they learn these rules. Maybe not all of them. Like if we talk about a hyphen, 21, 22 students do learn this in their when they are learning counting. They learn that when we are writing 21, we are going to put a hyphen in there. They learn this. Now semicolon, colon, they are a bit complicated, but as far as a few very basic rules, like completing a sentence, ending a sentence with a full stop, starting a sentence with a capital letter, capitalizing proper nouns, then using that you do not have to use apostrophe in plural, that you learn in your early classes. Apostrophes are used for contraction and showing possession. I think 3 or 4th class student learn these constructions and these possession apostrophe. Every question that is very basic you learn in class 1, that you end a question with a question mark, exclamation mark. These also students learn in class 3 or 4. So these are the things, and comma, we separate a list of things with comma. These are very basic things that you learn in your early classes. So that's all for now. Remember these 13 rules and do not make mistakes while working or while writing your, and remember them while writing your essays, while writing your directed writing, your composition, your summaries, and even your comprehension. Remember these rules and use them in your writings, because that is just the start of your session. We are going to start our I've started this for C3 classes, so that when they started, they can correct these mistakes in the beginning of the session, and when till the end of the session they are going to prepare themselves for exam, they have mastered this thing, that their use of punctuation, their grammar, they are very well placed. So that's all for now. Inshallah, see you tomorrow. Allah Hafiz, take care.